another attempt to make this ice cream making machine. First of all, let's turn that down. So we are going to make a second attempt on making an ice cream machine. So, sorry, sorry. So, I will say that we have been studying a few things with the machine, been testing some things out, and I think we've mastered it this time. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We got some other ingredients, we got some our supplies and everything. So, we're gonna try to make this work. Which, by the way, look how slow that's turning. Can you believe? Like, that's a very slow process. I actually thought it was going to be a lot faster, but apparently, no, it's not. It's not going to be a lot faster. Okay. So, anyway, so we tried different methods with this machine. So, like one thing that we did different was we let it sit a lot longer than what we did earlier because last time we did it, we only had it sit down for like a few minutes and it didn't turn out well. Another thing that we did was instead of after we mix all the ingredients, we actually cream it. We actually cream it this time, and then put it in. So instead of just mixing it all the ingredients and not trying to cream it, we just go ahead and cream it. So that's the second thing. Our third thing is right after we cream it, we give it a few minutes in the refrigerator. So um, that way it can get cold and so yeah we're going to and hey it worked out then so we're going to try it one more time. If it doesn't work then you know that this machine just is not worth it. But hey, I will tell you what though, even if this machine does not work well, definitely try this without definitely try our original recipe because our original recipe is tops. If you don't know our original recipe, we will make a video about it. But I think we've already done that, so it's probably somewhere in the Sugar and Fears YouTube file. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So we have our ingredients here. We actually have an extra ingredient. We actually are going to use sugar because because we're not using condensed milk, the sweetness is not really there, so we're going to be using sugar. Um, I did try the ice cream without the sugar, and it tasted good. It just didn't taste sweet, so we're definitely going to upgrade that. So I'm just looking at the recipe guide here, making sure that we got everything. So we'll do 2 cups heavy cream, 1 cup milk. All right, cool. All right, so here's our cup right here. All right, we need 2 of these. That's one, and that's two. All right. All right, so we got our 2 cups of cream. We're going to add our milk, our 1 cup of milk. So 2 cups of cream, 1 cup of milk. All right. All right. Now, if you remember last time when we did this, we added um, the recipe that we read in this book is for vanilla ice cream, but I don't really like making vanilla ice cream. Um, Long, complicated story. I'm not gonna get into it that much. But instead of using vanilla extract, we use white chocolate hot cocoa. So remember, you can use whatever you want to. You can, if you want a different kind of ice cream, you can put peppermint extract in it. You don't have to follow my recipe exactly, but I just think this is a good way to go. All right, so we're going to take 1/4. Well, you know what? Let's be let's be wild and crazy about it. Let's do two. Let's do 2/4. Let's do 2/4 of white chocolate cocoa. All right, and then something that we didn't do last time that we're gonna do this time is we are going to add sugar. Like I said, I tried this out. Did some research, and the ice cream that I made turned out good, but there just wasn't any sweetness in it. So we're going to change that, and we're going to put some sugar into it. So this is 5 milliliters or 15 milliliters. So we're going to put 30 milliliters of sugar in this. All right. And last time that we did this, we put the coloring into the mixing bowl. We're going to actually just put it into the mix this time. And this is dark blue. We usually want a lighter blue color, so we're going to use less of the dark blue and to make it more blue, so that all that white stuff can make the white, you know. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to cream this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cream this, because last time we did, we just mixed everything up, we didn't cream it. We're going to cream this, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator for just a few minutes to, get cold and, stay cold and everything. Then we're going to put it into the machine. Okay, let's go. Alright, so it didn't work out the first time just because of the fact that I thought the machine was going to do all the work, but apparently it didn't do all the work. Apparently you do have to put stuff in it. So, especially with the turn on this thing going so slow, it's a long process. I should have known that, because I should have known that it was not going to be as fast as like this right here. This is like going, these blades are going really fast. This one turns really slow. I should have known that was going to be anyway. So we're just mixing up. I want to add a little bit more blue to it. Word of advice, make sure you always hold on to the bowl, because that can be a little concern. Alright, all that whitening out. All that whitening is gone. Stop right there for two reasons. One, because I forgot another ingredient, and we do need to add this into the mix. This is almond bark. This is white chocolate almond bark, or white almond bark. I don't know the direct name for it, but we definitely want to put that into the mix. This is usually what I use for the top of the mix. Like after I'm done making the ice cream, I usually like sprinkle this on top, kind of give it like a top flavoring. And also I usually put caramel into this mix, but I don't have any caramel, so there's a lot. So we are going on a different route this time. And you know, let's add some more because I do love the almond bark. You can add as much almond bark as you want to. I just want to make sure that almond bark is in there. We're going to use the rest for a little bit later after we make the ice cream. Kind of give it like these sprinkles. All right, and we're going to mix it back. Get those bubbles out. We're gonna stop right there, okay? So, what we're gonna do now is first we're gonna unplug this. I want to be on the safe side because in order to get these off, I need to press the button. Now, I don't want my finger to slip and accidentally like press it upward, and yeah, that's gonna be a disaster. So, yeah, we don't want that. So now what we're going to do is we are going, like I said before, we are going to take this and we're going to put it in the refrigerator so it can, you know, cool, get cold and everything. And I'm going to take these into the sink so that way they can get clean. I will be right back. All right, so once we go get that back, we are going to bring in the what is it called again? The cooling cup, and we're going to start making the ice cream. But for right now, I'm going to read your comments and as I clean up. So we have our friend here who. Oh wow, we have a friend from Papua New Guinea. So glad to have you here. Hope you like our videos. If you would like, we would love to give you a Shiver and Fears book for free, no cost. So let us know what you think. But yeah, let me go clean this up and get a rag. So I'll be right back. All right, move that out the way and move this and move this and just clean up this mess. Whew. I gotta say, it is very hard not to make a mess when blending. So anyway, so yeah, like I said, we did do some experiments with this. This is not usually how I make ice cream. I usually use some condensed sweetener, some con- some condensed milk. Most of the ingredients are still the same though. Yeah, but other than that, yeah. So the only reason we're doing it like this is just because this is what the recipe book calls for, and I have heard that like milk is used to make ice cream, but I guess it's more the cream that's involved in it more than the milk itself. Because there was a time I was trying to make ice cream with a round ball, and I used milk, and it didn't. It turned out kind of like yeah, but it did. I thought maybe I didn't put enough ice in it, or maybe I used wrong salt. But I guess it's because I didn't use cream. So let's learn. But yeah. So we're going to get our other ingredients. But first of all, um, we're going to just wait a few minutes because, like I said, that mixture that we made needs to be in the refrigerator for a few minutes. So while we wait on that, let's focus on another craft. All right. So I don't know, and we'll just have a little conversation. So I don't know if a lot of you know about this, but this is a very interesting activity. Um, how I got into it was very awkward, or I thought it was awkward. So I had a friend who apparently does crocheting or whatever, or I've seen people who do crochet, and um, I just randomly thought about how my sister had some kind of one of these just hidden around the house somewhere, and I just was like, why does she never use it? Where did it come from? How do you use it and all that stuff? And so I looked into it, and funny story is I didn't find it. But I'll tell you what I did find: knitting needles. And I was like, oh, I wonder. Well, maybe this is what I was thinking of. So I got into that and tried it and like watched a video on how to use it and everything, and realized that it's not bad, but it's hard because as I'm trying to use the needle, I'm trying to get all the yarn on one end of the needle, and then like I'm trying to transfer it to the other one, but then it's hard because um knitting needles are made out of wood, and you don't want to break them, and you don't want to break the string, and it was a hard process because I was like, okay, well, doing this, I must be doing it wrong because doing this, I'm going to break something because of how tough it is to do it. So I was like, okay, let me stop. And I think I messed up at some point too. So I was like, okay, and I don't know how. And it's like this is obviously something that you gotta put full focus into. And not that I don't have the full focus, but I'm just like I tend to mess up, and it's like if I mess up, then I'm just lost. I'm just completely lost. So anyway, so but I was like, you know what? I'm sure I do remember seeing this one of these somewhere in this house. Well, anyway, I went ahead and bought myself one, no problem, and just learned how to do it. And I was like, this is really easy. Um, and so I made a scarf, I made a hat, and it was just a fun little project. And then but then the funny thing was the loom that I was using was for like toddlers and kids, so it's like I couldn't wear the hat. I couldn't wear the hat, and it was like, really? So I made this hat, and who do I give it to? Well, it just so happened that at this time, a friend of mine was going to have a child. So I was like, oh, well, this is made for toddlers, so this works, you know? And so I was just like, okay, well, then I guess I'll give it to them for Christmas or, the birth of their new child or whatever. So anyway, so I was like, okay, well, then how do I make one for like me? How do I make one for me? Well, so I looked into it and so I looked into it and I was like, oh, you need a bigger one. So went ahead, got a bigger one, and by the time I got it, it was nearly summer or spring. I was like, well, shoot, at this point, I don't need to work on this project because what am I gonna do with it, you know? So I decided to take a break from it and just start the project again later, sometime, in the fall. So and then, but I was curious on like these different designs, like the different colors and the different texture, and just wanted to know like how do they do that. So I learned how to use two different colors to make how to use two different colors. And so I was like, okay, well, let me do that. But there's so many different ways on doing these things. And it's like, I kind of just want to know how to do them, you know? And it's like the how to videos, they are good. But I don't know. It's like I gotta really slow down the process of how they're doing things because like as much as they sit there and say like, oh, all you have to do is X, Y, and Z. It's like okay, well, hold on. How did you do X, Y, and Z? Because you didn't. Even though they say like this is how I did it, I held it like this, and it's like okay, but you're doing it like not instead of you're not slowing down the process. So it was a hard process. I see that we have some new fans here. So what do we have here? It says it looks like a basketball net. Pretty cool. Yeah, it does. It's actually going to be a hat. Um, but I like that creative thought you have. So we're gonna wait a few more minutes before getting the ice cream and the batter. And like I said before, it's going to take a few minutes. So there's really no rush. So I mean, cause if you watch the first video, then you'll notice that we didn't give it a lot. We didn't give it a lot of time. I mean, like I said, like look at this, and it's like okay, so obviously I didn't put a lot of. I didn't realize it was going to take a lot of time for that to, make. I think if it went faster, it would have creamed a lot better. But I don't know. I gotta say I am kind of nervous about the recipe because um, adding different ingredients. Like we added some powder instead of liquid, and I'm wondering how that's going to affect the process of making this ice cream. Like, is it not going to be creamy, or it has the other ingredients like not cause it to work correctly? So I am kind of curious on how this is going to turn out. So, but anyway, so yeah, I'm going. So apparently, what I've learned about this project so far is that this is not hard. I mean, even this part right here, I will say the only issue that I have with this project is, people say like, do this 1,000 times, and I'm like, I just want to do it a couple of times. Like, I don't want to put a lot into it. Like, I made a scarf one time, and I was like doing it, and it's like, scarves are like, this long. Well, I made mine to like here, and I was like, okay, well, can I use it? And I was like, okay, it works. I didn't, it's like a scarf is like from here to like a few inches past this other arm. And so I was like, and I think I actually did have it to arm instead of arm to extra inch. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That'll work. So, um, that's the thing. That's the thing about my projects is like I have to work on you know extending time, and that's something I learned when I started writing books. I was writing stories when I was in elementary school, and the thing is, my stories were like just a few pages long. I was the kind of person like, hey, get to the point. Um, I think I've written this story enough. Like in my mind, it was like I had already written a novel. So it was like, okay, stop droning on, get to the point. And then it's like after I'm done, I read it and I'd be like, I only written a full page of this. Wow. So so when I became an author, I decided sorry, I decided to there was hair in my mouth. I decided to put more effort into it. So my goal in every book that I write is at least 100 pages. You know, sometimes I even put myself. Sometimes I even limit my goal to like, okay, write chapter books. Every chapter, try to at least make 5 pages per chapter. Sometimes they get to 3, sometimes they get to 5. Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, there's not much going on in the story. I can't go on, so let's do just 2 pages. And that's okay because they still turn out good, they're still enjoyable, they sell online. So if you're ever interested in one of my books, then you know where to find them. Go to the Shiver and Fears website, or you can ask me right now. I'll tell you. No problem at all. We're gonna do one more loop of this, and then we're gonna go get the stuff. All right. Um, I will say though, one thing that I didn't notice after making the ice cream was that the ice cream does stick onto the spinner here, the spinner here. So and I was just like, okay, so am I supposed to just eat it off the stick? And so here I am, like eating the ice cream off the stick, trying to make sure that it doesn't fall to the ground and plop and make a mess. And I was like, well, you could just use the spoon and scoop it off and put it into the cup. And I was like, I will remember that. So, like I said, there were a lot of trial and errors when first using this machine. Um, Once again, it's a nice little machine. I don't really think it's worth buying. I think it's only worth buying if you want to try it. Like if you are a young kid who's like, "Hey, I want to make ice cream." It's like, "Okay, well, start out small." So, start out so doing that, I feel like starting off small will oops, didn't, forgot to put the orange on there. Which I mean, it didn't mess up anything. It's just it didn't mess up anything, so don't worry. But it's definitely a good starter. Sorry, something in my throat. I'm not sick, I promise you. But yeah, it's definitely a good starter. I will say that. So I will say, when I was buying the yarn, one thing that I definitely wanted to do is I wanted to do something special. So I wanted to get like a glitter yarn or a color changing yarn, but the colors that they had, they didn't have anything. Like I wanted to do something different. I know like a lot of hats and stuff. They're like dark blue or they're color changing, and I wanted to do something different. And one thing that I wanted to do different was I wanted to be kind of holiday related, but I didn't want it to be but I didn't want it to be like, um, just set to one holiday. So I was just in a position where I was like, okay, well, how can I make it into a holiday, but not have it be a holiday? And so I was thinking, well, they could wear it in the fall, And so I was like, well, what colors are in the fall? And I was like, oh, well, no, I take that back. So I was thinking about doing one that represent Halloween, and I wanted to do orange with like a gray, a color changing gray, or like a black that with a sparkle on it, But they didn't have that, so I was like, okay, so I can't. I want to do something different. I don't want to do black and orange, just an ordinary black and orange, because then it's completely Halloween, and I didn't want to do that. So I couldn't find any special colors that could blend together and special it up. So I was like, okay, well then I'll just do fall. And so I grabbed the yellow and yeah. So so that's why it looks like this because um yeah. So anyway, so we're going to finish this last loop up. It's not the last loop of the whole project. This is the last loop before we start working on our ice cream project. And I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there like, where in the world is the project? Uh-oh, I skipped the loop. Ooh, that's going to be effective. Hold on. I think I can fix this. I can totally fix this. I gotta get that loop. So hold on, let me pull some more. So I've learned a few tricks in doing this. Like I said, it takes a lot of focus into doing like even when I started this project, I messed up. And there. And then we just transfer the lack back to the beginning. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're back. We're back in action. We're back in action. All right, so yeah, so we're just going to finish this up because, and do want to say that this is for a friend of mine, and I hope she likes it. Which, which is funny because I feel like if I give this to her, it's gonna be one of those things where she doesn't wear it often, and of course I'm gonna be like, "Hey, where's your hat that I made you?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, I wear it. I just don't wear it that often." Kind of like when you give your dad that tie, and you're just wondering like, so where's that tie got you? It's like, oh yeah, I wear it. I wear it to work, or they put it on right in front of you as they're going to work and stuff. Or is that just a TV thing? I don't know. All right, so let's go get the ice cream and I'll be right back. Once again. All right. So, all right. So we look at this. It is cold. That's good. So, all right. So now what we're gonna do is we can't put the whole thing into this. We can only put a cup into it. So we're going to be very careful and put only a cup worth. All right. All right. We're gonna put the rest of this into a container, and we're just gonna turn that completely into ice cream. So here we go. So we have our mixer here, we got our ice cream in here, and all you have to do is put this on, turn the switch on, and we let this sit for I don't know how many minutes, but we're gonna let it sit. And this I'm going to put into a container so we can make it this whole thing into ice cream. All right, sorry about that. Took longer than we have. So we have the ice cream in here. It's churning, and we're not going to check on it. We're going to give it just a few minutes. Cause last time I was constantly checking it. I was constantly checking like every few minutes, just like, oh, it must be done now. It must be done now, and like, no, it's not done. And I gotta say, I kind of think that if you keep checking on it, then it's going to, you know, it's going to. But anyway, so we're going to keep that. We're going to keep that over here, and we're going to work on another project. So let me clean up this mess because I have another project I need to work on, and that is making a calendar. So, for those of you who don't know, let me get this stuff. So, for those of you who don't know, Shiver and Fears is doing like a brand new um, brand new project. Well, the project is new. The whole process is not. But anyway, so let me get my machine. And I also need my binder. All right, so for those of you who don't know, Shiver and Fears has a contest every fall called the Bees Boostly Buddy Contest. Years ago, it was called the Monster Fight Contest, and it was a contest where you could create a monster out of a picture. Parents were complaining that it was too scary. Kids were saying that it was cool, but their parents were like, "No, we don't want to get involved in that." So we did a new project where kids can basically create a monster friend because we want kids to know like Shiver and Fears is not a scary content. It's definitely thriller, but it's not scary. All right, so we called it the Booze Beastly Buddy Contest, and kids were drawing pictures of monsters. Well, this year, we were thinking, what if we took those contestants and made their art into a calendar? So we asked the kids, and they were like, "Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool." And so we were just like, "Okay, well then that's what we'll do. We'll take all your monsters, and we'll turn the whole process into a calendar." All right. So this is actually how I make my own copies of my books. This is like literally what I do. I make my own books, and since I write the books, I can create them, so it's not copyright. I own the whole I own the whole book progress. All right. So I can make books and I can sell them and at any price I want to. So I do that a lot. Um, this process makes me a little bit nervous because sometimes when I make books, the holes are not lined up correctly. So then what ends up happening is there's like a line of holes and they're not lined up, and so it just ruins the whole project. And so I have to figure out how to redo it. So I'm using tape to tape it back together. It's a mess. It's a total mess. But I kind of have to do it this way because of the fact that. All right. So we got all of our pages. We gave them holes. So now what we need to do is we need to get them into this binder. All right, which is not a hard process to do. The only struggle I have with this is how is really just getting them into the hole. Really, that's it. So hold on. So hold on. Because yeah, this is a very hard thing for me to do. It's like once you get it started, then it's an easy process. Oh my gosh, this is a very hard process. Okay. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's not usually a hard process for me, but it is today. I guess 'cause I haven't done this in a while. Okay. There we go. Now we're cooking some fire. Now we're cooking with fire. I don't know how that phrase goes. Maybe it is cooking with fire. That makes a lot more sense. Alright. And I gotta say, the one hard thing about doing this is making sure that all the holes get punctured in because some of them don't, and it's hard to realize if they have or not. But yeah, so we're making a calendar. So each monster has their own month. The kids did not choose it. I chose it just because based off like what I think of. Uh, sounds like the ice cream cone. Let me check. Oh, it's getting there. All right. So I chose what month the monsters were in. So just based on like what they look like, what they what holiday, which one fits in the most. So funny story about this calendar. So I was trying to figure out how could I make copies of it. I was trying to figure out how to make copies of it, and I was like, well, I do have a printer at home, so I guess I can print it there. I just need to buy ink. Perfectly fine, right? So the problem was, so I went to go get some ink and printed out the first calendar. Well, can you believe? Like we're talking about fresh new ink. I put all the colors in. I put the blue in. I put the red in. I put the yellow in. So I had all three of those colors is in ready. Printed out one calendar, just one calendar. All the ink was gone. All of it. Every single inch was used up. So that told me that printing a calendar was going to take, I was going to need 12 containers of ink in order to make this calendar. Because it literally took one set of yellow, blue, and red and black for it to be like sucking dry. And I was like, I get it because I mean, like I'm doing 12 different, I'm doing 13 different pictures, kind of making the cover as well. Um, and they require a lot of color. And then I also get it because I'm like, I also gotta do, the calendar part. But I was like, the whole carton is gone because of one calendar. And then what was even worse about it was that some of the pictures didn't even turn out right. Like, let me show you what I mean. So, hold on. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about as soon as I get this off into the machine. All right. This is January. Now, see the image here. See the white, the blue, and the green. I don't know if you can see the green. Yeah, they messed that up. They didn't even put the monster in there. Now check out February. February. The monster's gone, and there's green. What? And then it totally glitched out. But then, like, check this out. From April throughout the whole entire thing, perfectly fine. Now, I know you're probably wondering, why in the world are you printing that if it messed it up? I'll tell you, because the thought of me starting over or throwing that whole entire process away, or even just the first few pages, especially since the calendar part was fine, not the picture, but the calendar, I was like, it'll be alright. It'll survive. Alright? Alright, so there is our calendar. All we need to do now is we just need to punch a hole into the bottom, and there you go. January, February, and this is next year's calendar. So these are not for sale. These are just going to the kids who entered in the contest. All right, so let's check that ice cream. Oh, see, look at that. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Because I'm going to put this machine away. But hey, if you are interested in any of our contests or events that we have, be sure to check out our website, shiveringfears.com. All right. Oh, snap. I gotta get a spoon. I'll be right back. to scoop this into the container here. And for your information, this is only a pint of ice cream. I know, it's only a pint. Only a pint of ice cream. That's good. Alright, let me go put this into the sink. Alright. And just like that, we got chill out ice cream. Oh, you know what? I just realized we got some almond bark on top. Process is never done. Be right back. Now, the reason why I want this almond bark on top is really because I want that white texture. Because this is Shiver and Fear's ice cream. And if you don't know, Shiver and Fear's colors are blue and white. And this just kind of adds on to the chill out portion of the chill out ice cream. And what I mean by that is, look at that. It looks like snow. It definitely helps a lot, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely want to get that almond bark in there. So this is actually good. So if you want to make your own ice cream, or you want to follow my recipe, I might have to put it on my website. Oh yeah, this is good. I mean, yeah, I should have ice cream early in the morning. Pretty good. But yeah, if you want to learn how to make this flavor, follow the video. Instead of using milk, if you don't have like a machine like this, instead of using ordinary milk, use condensed sweetener. I think that's what it's called, condensed sweetener. And then just mix it all up. And then once it's all like thick and everything, put it into the refrigerator or freezer. But but yeah, usually I put like caramel into this. I don't put sugar into my ice cream. Not because I don't want sugar into it, but I use caramel instead just to add flavor. Which is already sweet. The only reason I didn't use caramel in this one is just because I don't have caramel. And when I didn't add it, the ice cream tasted just like cream. It was creamy, but it didn't really have a taste to it. But anyway, this is my video, and I hope you liked it. But hey, if you want to learn how to make cakes or cookies or, special stuff, check out my baking stuff, and be sure to check out this October because we're going to be carving a pumpkin this year. This AJ Hart saying chill out. It's good.